Okay, for question 31, it says, suppose that the terminal point determined by t is the point 3/5, 4/5 on the unit circle. By this, we know that the x-coordinate here represents the cosine of t, and the y-coordinate represents the sine of t. The cosine of t, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So therefore, we would have 3 over 5. Not that we would need to do this necessarily, but the sine of t, we have opposite over hypotenuse. It's equal to 4 over 5. Given that they're both positive, we should know that these are in quadrant 1. Here we have t. This is 5, opposite is 4, adjacent is 3. Really, without this triangle, we could find t, and that's what we need to find, because what they want us to do is they want us to find the terminal point determined by each of the following. And then we have a, which is pi minus t, b, which is a negative t, c, which is pi plus t, and d, which is 2 pi plus t. Well, d is going to be the easy one. When you add 2 pi, you're just adding one revolution, so the value, the terminal point, is going to be the same. So this one is going to be 3/5, 4/5. If we take a look at some of the other ones, we have pi minus t. Okay, so if we have this and we have pi and we have minus t, that's going to put this over here, pi, and then we subtracted this. So here we are at pi, we subtracted this, we're at this point. Well, what we should have is the same terminal point as we have here, but with a negative x and a positive y. So this should be a negative 3/5, 4/5. A negative t here to here, same terminal point, but now we have a positive x and a negative y, and then pi plus t, pi, and then we add t, should put us here, so we have a negative x and a negative y. So it's one way to look at it, probably the easiest way. Another way that we could do, we could just calculate these values. We could determine what t is by taking the inverse cosine of 3 over 5, and that gives us approximately 53.13 degrees. So if you want to turn this into degrees, we would have 180 minus the 53.13. Again, this is not the way that I would do this, but it is another way of looking at it. It would give us 126.87, and according to what we decided, now the cosine of that should be equal to a negative 3/5, and it's going to be an approximation because we did round here. Well, we get to negative 3/5. So you could have found t either in terms of radians or degrees, and then found these corresponding values for sine and cosine. Remember again, what we found here was cosine and cosine is x. So we would have done the same thing for y. But really the first way I showed you is probably going to be the easiest. Didn't even actually need to set up this part of it. Could have just gone from these values and taken a look. But it's a little bit easier if we draw it out. And that's how you solve question 31.